And speaking of miracles, I want to share with you that it truly is a miracle that I'm up here in front of you, because people who know me well, hi Mary, know that I am a quintessential introvert. I would much sooner be behind the scenes, extending love into the world than standing up in front of people and sharing my truth. So one of my favorite Marianne Williamson, A Course in Miracle prayers is, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say, and to whom? And when I ask Spirit those questions, which I often do, Spirit tells me things like, go speak to teens in local high schools about self-esteem, or write and publish a book, or go out and speak to audiences about your life. And if you could witness the inner dialogue that goes on between my ego and my higher self, you would be rolling on the floor laughing, or quite possibly you would recognize some of the voices. Perhaps a similar voice takes up space in your head. So the process goes something like this. Spirit delivers a message through my oldest daughter, who comes home from school and says, Mom, we're having a guest speaker come in to talk about relationships. And then my ego thinks, wow, I love teens. I could speak to them, but what could I possibly have to say that they could relate to? Teens, seriously, give your head a shake. Why would they want to listen to someone your age? They'll just tune you out. Spirit says, well, why don't you take that 8 commitments for living a more empowered life handout that you've already got done, add in some experiential exercises, and share some of your life experiences growing up. My ego says, I don't know, somebody else could probably do a better job of that. And then finally, my higher self, also known as Spirit, says, you know what, this message was delivered to me for a reason. Put together a presentation and talk to Bethany's teacher about being a guest speaker. And the end result of that was that I got to talk to hundreds of students over a 3-year time span in high schools local to where I lived. The feedback from the teachers and from the teens was that I'd inspired them. And some of the teens told me later that they had been contemplating suicide, but that I'd given them hope that things could get better. Here's another message from Spirit. I'm at a writing workshop, and the message comes and says, Denise, several of these writers have entered something called the Next Top Spiritual Authors Contest. You could win a publishing contract. You've been writing since you were a little girl, and you've got a story to tell that could inspire a lot of people. And my ego says, well, that sounds interesting. Maybe I'll check it out one of these days. Better go and get the laundry done. And then the Spirit says, here's that piece of paper with the info about the contest. Go online and check it out. And my ego says, maybe later. I've got to get caught up on my emails and Facebook messages. Besides, why would I even want to enter a contest? What are the chances that I'd win it? Spirit, literally minutes later. What about now? Want to go on the internet now and check it out? My ego says, okay. Enter the contest URL. The contest entry deadline is 24 hours away. It's like, oh my God, I'd have to submit a book proposal, an online audio or video pitch. Sounds like a great opportunity, but I don't think I can do this. I don't even know where to start. Spirit literally wakes me up at 2 o'clock in the morning and says, get a pen and a piece of paper. Here's your table of contents for the book. Finally, my higher self kicks in, and I get a pen and a piece of paper, and I take dictation. And miraculously, all the info for the book that's been swimming around in my head for years gets organized into chapter headings. The end result was that I got my proposal and my audio pitch done and uploaded just in time to enter the contest. I was in the top 10% of nearly 3,000 writers who had entered. Although I did not win, I had everything prepared to then approach a publisher who loved my book and agreed to publish it. I'm sorry, you must be looking for another Denise. And Spirit says, breathe. How about we start small with radio interviews and then expand into speaking engagements? And my ego says, how about we start small with you being quiet and me going back to my nice peaceful little life? Who cares about what I have to say anyway? I'm sure people have better things to do with their time. But Spirit just keeps whispering, and the whispers just keep getting louder. Finally, my higher self kicks in, and it says, you know you can do this. You've done it before on a smaller scale. Once you get on the radio or get in front of an audience, the stage fright disappears. And the end result is that I have done radio interviews all over the world and spoken to many audiences, and the feedback is that I'm inspiring people to have hope in any circumstance. So can anyone relate to the ego chatter? Truthfully, mine is actually much worse than what I've just relayed to you. I have a brutal inner critic, and I've spared you most of it because we'd have to have R-rated this talk. My point is that I've come to realize that all of us have a special purpose for being here, and all of our past experiences have prepared us for what we're being called to do. Oftentimes, fulfilling the purpose will require us to step outside of our comfort zones again and again. Our job is to counter the voice of the inner critic and the ego with truths that reflect the higher part of us. I'm so far out of my comfort zone these days, I may as well be on another planet. But I've come to trust that the messages I'm being called to deliver are coming through me and not necessarily of me. I was able to talk to teens, write and publish a book, and speak to audiences because I made a choice to move beyond the fear. And because the higher part of me knew that the goal of bringing hope into the world was more important than the fear that was holding me back.